Welcome to Growler Creek Ranch. I'm currently living in my apartment and working on getting to live out here. Bought this place about a month ago. First thing I did, of course, was install this beautiful Growler Creek Ranch sign. And as you can see, we've got a little more going than just the sign so far. We've got our man height shelf over here. I don't know how far away I am since this is the first video, so this might look terrible. But got the shelf, tractor, little table over there. We had a tent back here that it looks like the grom has fallen on. Not even my grom out here. It's my buddy's grom. And then of course we have the farm truck. We'll get more into detail on all of those in the time being. This is Jordy, the growler in question at Growler Creek. Yes, the growler of Growler Creek. Probably the biggest, baddest farm dog you'll ever see. Plan for today is to try to get that deer skull that we found, maybe some of these hog bones too, mounted up on that sign. If we go for a stroll here, give you the little tour. Driveway's not finalized on where it's gonna be. Still trying to decide where I want this to go, because if you can see kind of where these taller trees are, bushes, some of them are trees, that is where the dry creek, which we're about to get down to, I'll show you how dry it is. That's where the dry creek is though. And there's a culvert right now. You can already hear some frogs barking. There's a culvert right now across here, but I might want to move it farther down so it's a straighter shot to the entrance. Haven't decided yet. You can see how dry this creek is though. Got a bunch of standing water, and it runs a little bit, it flows. I don't know if you can see back about right there, there's a trickle. So some goings on there, a lot of blackberries. All those little, they're red here. That's some blackberries. You can see blackberries right there. A couple of them are actually black now. If we keep walking around here, over here you can see even more of the water. It's far from dry in our dry creek. Also did just rain last night. Everything's a little wet. Point of this channel is gonna be just follow along and turning this empty land into kind of my dream home. It's gonna start out with just a mobile home, which is not the dream, but getting out here on the ranch, it's the cheapest way to go. We'll get more into that in a video kind of dedicated to the mobile home. But there's gonna be a lot going on out here. Probably gonna have a separate channel that covers more of what happened in this field. That's our donut circle. And this is the beach that we had the fire on. We put up most of the chairs. These ones are outdoor chairs though. Here you'll see one of the creeks. Not sure how those logs got from the fire into there. Very interesting. This is the biggest creek on the property though. Oh, dog's going right in there. She also doesn't know why the logs are in there. Very curious, very interesting. But the whole reason that I wanted to get this land was so that I could try my shot at a homestead type of deal. Gonna get like chickens or something, maybe some livestock of some sort. I'm leaning towards sheep right now. See how that ends up going. Don't know if I'm gonna do quail or chickens. Got some cousins with quail and they're pretty awesome. But chickens are just so easy. All the research I have done says chickens are just the easiest thing ever, which is very tempting. So easy sounds good. Then obviously, gonna try to do some gardening. We'll see how that goes. So far on the land, all we've got is a barn over there, and then just a bunch of field. There's a kind of a bog over here, almost up to that tree line, that is a lot more of the like wetlands plants. There's kind of always standing water over there. Some really deep mud. Almost gotten the truck stuck over there. I have gotten the tractor stuck, but using the backhoe, was able to just kind of walk its way out. Doing that. So, got the bog to play with. Sure we'll do something cool with that. Not positive as of yet what cool is gonna look like there, but I'm leaning towards kind of like a wetlands marshy thing. Maybe get some of those bald cypresses, have those start growing. Have a little nature swamp, hopefully teeming with life. Just a cool place to check out. We're getting up here to the home site now, which so far is a front porch. It's a roof on the ground. And that is the parts for the back porch. So the idea is between these stakes here, this is where we'll drop the mobile home. Then I got staked off back here where we're going to eventually build the house. Plan there though is wait until there's a wife in the picture so she can choose how to build the house. If she wants a 1,000 square foot walk-in closet, cool. I'm not building that thing on my own or designing it on my own and then not making what she wants. So wife will decide what to do there. There is no wife currently. So got to find that. That'll be a big project. And kind of the biggest thing we've gotten done so far, this is the well. So that's about 350, 400 feet down to finally hit some water. And that we're gonna run pump into, plumb it over to the house, do that all ourselves, and see what we got going over there. Get some water, which will be very nice to have running water out here, because that will mean we also have electricity. So looking forward to that instead of having just that water tank in the barn full of water. Jordy, you coming? Instead of having just that water tank in the barn to wash our hands. And the creek is great, but it would be nice to have everything else out here, and hopefully we'll get that going in the next month or two. It takes about 4 to 5 weeks to get the power company out here. And if you could see that white piece of paper over there, that would be where our septic permit is. We're gonna do all the septic ourselves as well. Keep saying we. This is turning into the family ranch. I'll live out here, but kind of the goal of this place was to be a great spot for family to come and use a family farm, do different shenanigans, whether that's injuring ourselves on, oh, we're choking on something. Whether that's injuring ourselves on dirt bikes or just doing some family gardening. I know my mom already wants to know where she can plant some fruit trees, which I'm looking forward to quite a bit. Fruit trees would be awesome, especially with the, we already got a bunch of blackberry bushes, so why not get some more fruit growing? I know one of my buddies wants to do fig trees. His grandparents had fig trees growing up, and they like very moist areas, so got a lot of good spots for it here. Neighbor is a farmer's field full of corn right now. Neighbor this way owns hundreds of acres, won't sell even the tiniest bit of one, so I'm not worried about that developing anytime soon, especially up to where these trees are. you'll see in a second, we got another creek going. This is why it's called Growler Creek Ranch. The growler in question is my dog, Jordy. She growls a lot. So, little ode to her, make it Growler. And then the creeks, well, we got a bunch of creeks. So here's creek number 3, I guess, if you count the dry creek we already looked at. Running along the back section of the property. And then we call it a ranch instead of a farm because I wanted to start teaching my dog where we were going when we came out here by saying, let's go to the ranch. What are you doing? Tangled up in vines back there. She loves it out here. She's the perfect ranch dog. If you need a ranch hand, get yourself a little Frenchie. She loved it. She loved it. She loved it. Yes. Oh my goodness. But we started calling it ranch because ranch is a lot easier of a sound for the dog to pick up on than just farm. Farm, you probably just think I'm mumbling or something. You don't go farm. Versus you want to go to the ranch. Very strong enunciation there. And this trail I'm walking on, we got the bush hog working. Got all hooked up and everything. And just started cutting some random little trails so that we can walk the whole perimeter of the property, kind of see what we're dealing with. And we got quite a bit of like sandy, dirty stuff. When talking to the South Carolina DHEC, they told us that our soil content is topsoil, sand, and a little bit of clay. Don't really have any red clay though that we found yet, other than on some of the more beaten down parts. So that's kind of cool. Got a lot of this like sandy brown clay. See if we got any wildlife here where these rivers converge. Doesn't look like we got anything right now. Last time we were out here, we saw a turtle. Me and my buddy John of Ballistics Nations. He's got his own YouTube channel. It's pretty awesome. If I know how to link anything, I'll link it. Started knocking this stuff down while my dad was doing that. Clear up so that it's a clean walk through. But we walked these rivers, John and myself, and saw probably a 1-foot diameter turtle walking across right there. And this beach was not here. This was all river. So I guess in our last big rains, had some shifting around of sediments. Jordy loves the rivers, don't ya? You love the rivers? Okay, come on. Come on. Well, now we're gonna get towards walking into the bog area. You can see where we are relative to the barn way over there. Way over there. So in the far corner of the property here is where, see, we're starting to get a little muckier, but just a ton of these blackberries. I was talking to one of my neighbors who owns a chicken farm down the road, and evidently, actually grab one of these. Last one I ate was super sour. I don't expect anything different here. Yeah, pretty sour. But I was talking to my neighbor who owns a chicken farm about a quarter mile down the road. This must be a game trail. Really beaten down through there. Talking to my neighbor, evidently he's seen 2 bear out here in the last like 3 years while driving by this property before I owned it. So we're gonna get a lot of wildlife sightings. Obviously we've got the deer skull and the hog skull. I think the hogs definitely like out here in kind of the marshier area. You can see we got a ton of deer tracks and different animal tracks. We're already out here on just the trail that we made. A lot of these blackberries are starting to get darkened. That's kind of cool. We started clearing up some trees. Dad's been doing this while I'm at work, clearing up the trees to, wow, look at all these berries. Sorry, there's so many berries, holy cow. If I can protect these from the birds and the different animals that want to eat all these berries, we're going to be able to make some pretty awesome jellies, jams, and maybe some pies. I don't know what else do you do with blackberries other than just eat them and preserve them. But very much looking forward to that. Guy I bought the property from hadn't really ever made his way down over here. He was planning on putting a warehouse out here for his business. Luckily, he hadn't done that yet, and he kind of decided, maybe it's time to hang up the cleats and retire, which is, oh, look at all this sand. Just a bunch of sand randomly in the bog. Maybe it's time to hang up the cleats and retire. And in that process, he's like, I'll sell off some property, which lucky for me, ended up being this chunk of property, which is better than I could have ever asked for when I was looking for land to start these random endeavors on. See how mucky it is walking through here. Holds quite a lot of moisture in the soil. And there's even, I don't know if you could tell, it kind of goes down over there in like this area and dips down. And that's where there's really like a boggy marsh. Right here next to the river, it's a little more built up from when the sediment overflows. There's even like a crest. I don't even know which side it's on right now. There's a little river crest where the shore washes up that will have a lot of sand built up. But anyways, the guy sold the land so that I can have my kind of dream farm going, which is awesome. This is another spot where the water washes through. When we got heavy rains, might even be able to look a little more. Yeah. But lucked out finding this, about 18 acres, close enough to the interstate that my commute to work is actually no farther than what my commute already was in the apartment. I was living right by my college campus, so pretty convenient. Okay, so here's the secondary riverbank, whatever you want to call that. Little sediment wash up burn. It's full of sand, and now you can see we've made it full circle back over to the campfire area. If we take a left here by the donut circle, see, got another trail going down here. Now this will take us right into the marsh. But I'm new to this whole YouTube filming, obviously, since I was just giving you a shot of my chest, which, hey, maybe be better for OnlyFans than I would for YouTube. What the dog doing? She doesn't want to come through this tall grass. Come on, Jordy. I'm new to the whole homestead type of life, which I'm quite excited to learn more about. Obviously going to consume a lot of homesteading content on YouTube, like you folks are now. And probably the most interesting thing so far is I've been looking into a lot of like lazy gardening, setting up your garden with like natural and organic systems that make it to where you don't have to water it, don't really have to do much weeding, have kind of a diverse garden so that you just get a plethora of food production without having to like water it. You've got really hardy plants that survive year round and come back up to start producing again each year. And they got, nice developed root systems and all that. So be looking into doing that. Not really sure where I'm gonna put the gardening stuff yet. Thinking behind the house since there's so much room back there, but we've made it to the bog. See some tire tracks here of where we've gotten stuck. And you can see what I'm saying when I say there's a good bit of standing water back here. Lots of life gonna be going on back here, I bet. And I'd like to even potentially flood this place more if there's a way to do that. Just to have another little ecosystem going out here. I love bogs and marshes. I think they're really cool. They're always so teeming with life. It's all that different organic material and plethora of water, heat, sunlight, all that good stuff is going to be out here. So sure, this is one of the big attractions for the hogs. Hogs in the bog. I think they like bogs. I would imagine they'd like bogs. If I was a hog, I think I'd like a bog. I like bogs anyways, not even a hog. Kind of went on a tangent there. Figure out where the dog is now. And then check the time, because we are celebrating Father's Day today. Supposed to be over there at 11 a.m. Didn't get out here till like 9:45. So might be cutting it close to try to work on that sign. Might have to leave that project for another day. Right now, it's kind of coming out here doing a little bit each time we're out here, since it's about a 22-minute drive from the apartment. Not out here all the time, especially with work. Only come out here maybe 1 or 2 times a week right now. But once I get out here with the mobile home, then we'll really be able to start swinging some projects. I think the first thing work on is that driveway. If you saw the Kia at the beginning of the video, you'll know I don't have the best vehicle for when it gets muddy out here, especially as I keep driving. I think it's just going to get muddier and muddier. I obviously have the truck to pull myself out. Don't really want to be doing that every morning just to get to work. So definitely be working on the entries and exits of the driveway, and probably up by the house, having like a nice parking pad area. And then slowly work towards connecting both of them. That's kind of the nice thing though about having this place, is I won't have to knock out, a 9-hour day of just ranch work. Obviously I will on weekends, because it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff we get to do out here. But I can just chip away at different projects like the driveway. Just chip away at that. Maybe work on it an hour or two when I get home from work until I get tired. Just kind of call it. There's really no rush. We're originally planning on renting kind of the construction equipment like skid steers, backhoes, things of that nature. And my dad was going to get himself a 4-wheeler, which we were going to tie a bush hog to the back of to kind of maintain the land, which probably the next thing I'm going to do out here before I move out here is start coming out here to bush hog. But anyways, he was going to get just a 4-wheeler, but he pulled up on that tractor with a backhoe, bush hog, and a front loader. Works out nice, because that takes a lot of the pressure off of getting projects like the driveway done right away, because we have the equipment. Some gloves out here on the ground. That's random. Not sure what's going on there. Hopefully we don't have Dahmer living out here, Dexter, something like that. But now we get to do those projects kind of whatever pace we want, because we're not working around, a 1-week rental. The bush hogging was originally going to be done by, there was a farmer who his deal with the previous owner, trying to set up this tripod. His deal with the previous owner was that he would maintain the land and then he got to hunt the land. So he had to deal with some farmers that they could hay this field. And I got those farmers' number and everything, because I would like them to hay the field, especially while I'm working on some other projects, just so that it doesn't get overgrown and nasty. Unfortunately, that farmer kind of waited too long, kept saying it was because of the weather, but it's been about a month since he was going to, allegedly, cut this field. But that has kind of fallen through, and it looks like I'm going to just have to bush hog it myself, which is fine. But I was trying not to mess up his hay too bad so that he could get the hay for his animals. And then I was also not bush hogging it, so now we're kind of behind. But luckily all that stuff out there is gonna be easy enough to bush hog still, even though it's been a little while. Got some good cobwebs growing on the skull. Skulls are so cool to find. I mean, I know I took high school biology, but I always forget they have these cool little crevices across them, all the little separating points. I mean, that's just a cool find, you know? Anyways, try to get this mounted. Not sure how I'm gonna mount it. Made this sign, of course, right after I bought it. This was the first thing that we added to the farm, to the ranch. Just went to Lowe's, got some plywood, some black spray paint, and some masking tape. Quickly threw something together during a lunch break one day. One of my customers is only about 5 minutes from here, so I just scheduled him after my lunch break so I could easily make my way over. I don't know what we have to secure this thing out here yet. Some wire hangers, that's pretty good. Bunch of random fasteners, zip ties. What do we want to secure this thing with? I don't know. I'm just now thinking about how to do this. And we might not end up doing it today. We might just look at it, give it a little peeky poo, see what options we have. Looking at the skull, I don't want to like put a hole through it. It'd be great to use some of the features of this skull to hold it. And maybe, how much of that do we have extra on that paracord? That would probably be a good way to connect it, some paracord. Have to find a knife. I don't know where we're keeping the knife these days. There it is. Of course, in the side of the tractor. Where else would you keep a knife? This grill, quite excited about that. Sister got me that. My birthday's coming up. Her and my brother-in-law thought it would be a nice addition out here, and boy, were they correct. I mean, I couldn't imagine. Oh, I got totally just unused string over here. Perfect. Couldn't agree more. I mean, what is better than coming out to the ranch, grilling some meats? Sounds incredible to me. Did sleep out here one night, and right where Jordy's laying right now, one of my buddies just slept on the floor with a pillow with no pillowcase. It's kind of absurd. Find him there in the morning sleeping like that. I was the only one with a tent. One of my buddies slept in the back of the truck. And then I had two other buddies who brought a big Ford Excursion SUV. They were sleeping in that. Works great. Kind of like a camper on its own. Wow, this thing is sick. And put it right behind the eyes. There's some little holes here. Now, if I just have that, let's see if we get lucky and it just likes to hold its weight in the right orientation. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's perfect. Okay, this is gonna be great. All right. So we know it'll hold it the right orientation. Fantastic. Got a big knot here. If you hear me sniffling, sorry, I'm a little sick. Had to work from home yesterday because I was quite ill. Still a little ill, not feeling great. But name a better remedy to being sick than some fresh air. Some fresh air, a little dopamine and serotonin from being out on the ranch. All sounds like a good thing to me. I wonder if I have just like a basic ass nail somewhere. Surely there's a nail somewhere around here. Pull one out of these pallets. I do that. I'm gonna pull one of these random nails. The guy left me about 6, 7 pallets, which is great. Need some. So pull one of these random nails out of the pallet. Use that. Ooh, actually, just found a nail from taking apart the mobile home. Heck yeah. So now we're cooking with gas. And I really hope I'm not going to be turning this into just a time lapse because my mic didn't work. This is my first time using the mic. My buddy, the Ballistics Nation guy, gave me the suggestion of making some YouTube videos out of this. I'm like, who would watch that? And then I realized I watch this kind of stuff, so that's who would watch it. People like me. How sick does that look? I think that looks pretty sick. I'm gonna figure out how to get that mounted even better. What would make it slightly better? I like it a little more cocked that way. I think I'm gonna go ahead and tie it off here. I am not a Boy Scout. I have never tied a particularly good knot. But you know the saying, either tie a knot or tie a lot, baby. So we're gonna just tie a lot, because it would be kind of a shame to waste such a pretty skull on just dropping it on the barn floor as soon as I raise this sign back up here. The plan out here, though, is to DIY a lot of stuff, because why not? It's cheaper. It's kind of fun. A little labor of love. Get to build my dream and learn how to do a couple of things in the meantime. So that'd be kind of fun, getting to do some different projects out here. Even just digging the holes for the septic test was fun. I think I want that a little more like, yeah. Oh, well shit. That's kind of perfect without even putting a nail in it. All right, this ended up being a lot quicker of a project than I thought. I was gonna think that was taking at least like 30 minutes and some sort of fastener other than just some string. But you know what? That kind of looks just perfect. Looks great. Growler Creek Ranch. Let's go ahead and re-raise this, which is one of the tougher parts, because that was expected. That was expected. Might have to get a ladder up there once I get this raised all the way and straighten out that skull, because this is just thrown through these rafters up here. Ugh. They're not the lowest friction of mechanisms for the string, and I am forever scared that I might, we'll put it out right there, probably good. Forever scared that my rope is gonna eventually fray, but so far it hasn't, so fingers crossed. And once again, I don't know how to tie a knot. So over here, I just wrap it around a bunch of times and keep feeding the rope through itself and making different loops that go over this nail. And that creates enough friction. We're using friction a lot. Looks like I'm stuck on that word now. That creates enough friction that it just doesn't pull itself apart, even though nothing's really tied together, and I could undo this quite easily without like untangling anything, other than making sure this whole thing doesn't get too tangled. So slide that all back. Keep our excess right there. Beautiful. A little sideways, but hopefully the ladder is tall enough. Get me up there. Oh yeah, that should be tall enough, right? Yeah. Pop down and see how that looks. Pretty freaking sweet, dude. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, that was the main project for today. Kind of the whole reason I came out here was to film a little intro video, what the plan is with Growler Creek Ranch. Pretty excited to keep working towards, sorry if that was loud, pretty excited to keep working towards living out here. And bring you guys along on the journey. Sure we'll have more exciting projects than hanging a deer skull on the side. It was kind of exciting because that looks sweet. And I think we made great time to go ahead and make it over to this Father's Day celebration. Dad's been a huge help out here. Parents in general have been a huge help. They handle a lot of the paperwork for me while I'm at work. Handle a lot of the permitting process. Just touched something furry and goopy on that barn door. That's creepy. They've been a great help though, so couldn't be more thankful for them for making this dream come true. Luckily, I know it's not completely selfless, because they do also quite enjoy the ranch. My dad's out here playing, as we call it. Ah, the other door is going. Dad's out here playing about 5-6 times a week. Just finding an excuse to come out here. He'll bring his dog, which is actually one of Jordy's puppies. Jordy, come on, let's go. We're going home. Which is actually one of Jordy's puppies he'll bring out here. And then sometimes he'll bring my sister's dog, like yesterday, just to play in the creek, or they'll do some random stuff on the tractor, like cutting paths, putting in shelves, all sorts of fun projects to get into out here. And he's quite the project guy, enjoys it quite a bit. And so I come by it honestly, but we're all looking forward to the different goings-ons that we're gonna get up to out here. Well, that's about it for Growler Creek Ranch today. I know it was a kind of just a general overview video, but hopefully you enjoyed what you saw and you're looking forward to seeing where we go with this, because I know I am, and I know she is. Y'all have a blessed weekend.